guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Well, I can hear you.
Hello?
There we go.
We're looking good. Everybody is on.
All right, yes.
What's
I can
up?
hear you
What's
guys.
up? I'm loving that we all have really cool backgrounds. This is perfect.
I'm a little jealous of Guy, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Guide, can you hear us? I feel like I can hear him.
I can hear him.
Yeah. I think he can hear us. I hope. He timed out. Hopefully he's coming back on.
I think he's got this.
Yeah. Nico, what's
you
good,
doing?
man?
My NeoPixel came today.
Yeah. Also, that means
I woke up and it was just here.
you're going in on videos. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
put
videos are gonna be
Guide
fun.
back in. Let's see. Hopefully he got it. I'm sure he got it fixed. Hey.
Hey, I can hear you guys. How the hell are
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
How you doing, good sir?
you? I'm so sorry. I was
No, you're
gonna
good,
join
man.
and I
You're
was trying to
good.
set up
Don't
the
worry about it.
speaker and everything, and it just was not working.
Don't even worry about it, man. Let's start it off this way. Let's do some introductions. So I don't know why I was thinking like the person to my left. There's nobody on my left. Nico, introduce yourself first, and then we'll go down the line.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Nico Skywalker. I'm mainly a lightsaber spinner, but I also am an avid fan of Star Wars, and I love Star Wars so much, which is probably why I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. Nico is a good buddy of mine. All of us that are here, good friends on TikTok. That's where our relationship kind of first started. Nico is insane. He's being calm about it, but he is insane with the I don't even know how he does it, man. My wrist hurts looking at his videos. I'll just say that. And then going down, we got my boy Aaron. Did I say your first name right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm proud of myself.
I appreciate it. Yeah. My name's Aaron, also known as Star Wars Guide on TikTok. And I share the same passion as you guys, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Star Wars Guide is great, man. Obviously, you're going to be seeing a lot of us, here on this page. Guide, I mean, incredible. I first came across his page on TikTok, and anyone who's like fascinated with like, I always talk about like the Star Wars encyclopedias and like the Star Wars book and like wanting to expand your knowledge. He is that book. He might not brag about it though. But Guide is that book. He is like, if you want to expand your knowledge, he's like one of the dudes that you would absolutely love hanging out with and talking to. So it's a pleasure to have a partnership and friendship with all these guys, man. So today is like our 0-0 episode of Star Wars Bad Batch prediction. So this is the prediction episode. We have another week until the episode 1 premieres, which I know we're all excited for. A few times I've been talking about like doing like a watch party type thing. We may do something like that on TikTok. We could end up doing something here. We'll talk about it and figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But I'll kick it off. The way we'll do it, I want to talk a little bit about timeline stuff. After that, Guide, I'll have you take over, and we're kind of getting into the lore of characters with Guide. And then Nico, any predictions and other stuff that you're excited about, I want you to bring that to the table as we're going down the line in the conversation. And I mean, and in the midst of that, if there's other things that we want to talk about, pertaining to Bad Batch, we'll do it. So I'll kick it off. The timeline. So I think I can share my screen. Yes, I can. So let's go to Google Chrome. Yeah. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. We'll go to Google, and what was I looking at earlier? It was the Star Wars timeline. Yeah. So this is something that it may be very minor. It could be very minor. You guys could be like, this is silly. But I think I'm onto something here. So I first came across this idea by reading, and it's funny because this was in the High Republic comics. So I'm gonna click on this, see if I can enlarge it. But I was just looking at the timeline, Star Wars, and I mean, just everything, from High Republic down. And if you look at where are we at? Is it the Reign of the Empire? We've got the Bad Batch, and then we also have Solo, a Star Wars story. And those are like right in the same, timeline. So, for me, as I looked at that, as I'm thinking about predictions, I'm like, well, we already know we're going to get a young Fennec Shan, in Bad Batch. We're going to be seeing her and probably some other surprise characters. But particularly, you know what I mean? Like to see Solo Star Wars story, like right in the midst of the Bad Batch timeline. I guess I pose the question to you guys. What do you think? Do you think we're going to see Han and Chewie or Lando at some point? That Millennium Falcon, man. That's the question. That's one.
I'm rooting for it.
What do you guys think?
I'm rooting for it.
I'm not even joking. I was going to wear that same shirt today, and then I chose to wear a sweater. So we were going to be twinsies.
I got my Grogu shirt. Grogu all day. Let's go.
I was going to wear that same shirt if I didn't wear this shirt. So I have no idea what's going on.
You know how ridiculous we are? We're like, I was going to wear those same socks. We can go on all day, man. Like we all just, it's what we do. It's what we do, man.
Go ahead, Nico. I'll let you go first with your prediction.
All right. So I would love to see like a young Lando animated just show up in a bar, sitting down somewhere, having a drink, and that would just make me happy.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I can see it, man, and I feel like it's just been promoted. I've just seen it frequently, with this timeline, and to me that just pops out like, that's something that I feel like there could be some little surprises, with just the time. I feel like it would be a missed opportunity if they did.
I would love it.
Do something like that, you know what I mean? So, Guide, what do you think, man?
Man, my gears are really turning on this because they've already shown us Rex. They've already shown us it's like the elite, elite squad clone trooper. They brought in some new faces, and they've showed us some old faces, and I think that they're gonna really surprise us with a couple more. But they threw in some old faces to kind of get us hyped a bit and be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna watch it this time because they have Rex or they have so and so, or So seeing like a young Han Solo with Chewbacca, typically Han's gonna be in debt, someone's gonna be after him, and just to see him in there just gambling more money away would just be like just nothing more would be more Han Solo to me.
Yeah, agreed, man. And not even just that, but also like in the animation style of Clone Wars, the Dave Filoni part of things, to see some of those older characters, I think would be really enjoyable. And maybe you guys could correct me on this. I could be wrong, but I think like for Rebels, before they decided on the Ghost crew, I think they were gonna use like Han, Luke, and Leia, if I'm correct. I remember hearing something about that was like the original plan, but instead they created like new characters instead. But I could be wrong. But I think this is either way, this is going to be enjoyable to see them kind of coming into this style of the story and information if we do get to see some of those characters. So
I think we're gonna get something. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guy, talk a little. Go ahead and get into, because for me, I feel like maybe you and Nico may be a little more knowledgeable on this. Surprisingly, I feel like I don't know. I watched all of Clone Wars, right? So, and I remember, seeing the Bad Batch and that episode, the few episodes they were in season 7, but me and maybe some other people aren't that familiar with who these guys are. So we've got like, there's a team of 5. Guide, can you break down like who are these guys? And if you need me to look something up, just let me know.
Oh, you're talking about the Bad Batch entirely?
Yeah.
So they are, they're obviously clones that would be like I guess you can compare it as like a more badass. I mean, 99 is King. No, not trying to discredit him.
King 99.
Like a more, mutated version, you know, they have a certain, like Liam Neeson, a certain set of skills. You know, you have Wrecker, you have Hunter, you have I'm gonna run out of some names here. Wrecker, Hunter, Tech, Echo, Crosshair, and you know, Echo is obviously the newest addition to that, which, you know, I'm so happy that they brought him back to life. And it was really hard for me to see him all wired up, and it broke my heart. But yeah, they all have a certain set of skills. Crosshair incredibly well with sharpshooting. Echo is really good with tech, hacking things. He's basically like I guess you could mix, like, well, he is a cyborg, but you can mix like a droid with him, and that's like the best comparison. Wrecker is extremely strong. He's like the Incredible Hulk. Tech is like the guy who can tell you what 1,000,000 times 567,000 whatever. He's a really good, you know, mathematician. He's really good at you know, hacking into things, figuring things out. And then Hunter, he's like a Rambo, you know. He's really good with just
Sylvester Stallone
bad guys. Yeah, he looks like him too.
Yeah.
So that's at least my take, but I will never claim to know every little thing, because my memory, I can't even remember what I had for lunch 2 days ago.
What did I do? Let's see. Okay. Let me go back.
But I just want to say this now. If anyone's into collecting, who's watching this, listening, whatever, if anyone's into collecting Black Series figures, now is the time to buy them, because they are very cheap for now, but they're going to skyrocket in price, and they're going to be very rare. Like, if I could invest in something, I would invest in that right now.
Oh, like Black Series period?
Yeah, Black Series period, and those figures specifically, because they're not very popular right now. But just wait.
Oh, yeah, they will be. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the question, since we say thank you, Guy, for kind of shedding light more on those characters. Now, again, when I look at timeline of everything, I mean, you know, the animated part of the universe has done a great job at least I would say this. I'm backtracking a little bit, but when I look at like Clone Wars, I look at Rebels, I feel like, for me personally, like, I love the prequels, and I feel like Clone Wars did a great job of filling in gaps of questions that, you know, a lot of us fans have. Now, another question that poses is like, what happens? And I guess we just have to watch the show, but I guess when you're thinking later down the road and years later, what happens to this particular group of characters? Like, are they still in universe, or do you guys think they're going to meet their end at some point, you know, within the show? And that's a question within another question, because do we just get one season of Bad Batch, or is this a thing that's going to continue similar to a Clone Wars where we'll have multiple seasons? I don't know. So what do you guys think? I'll sound off.
I've been so lazy, I haven't even hung it up. But I just noticed looking at his walls, like,
I'm loving all of our setups, man. I'm feeling it.
For sure. Yeah.
God, why don't you go ahead and take over until he hops back in.
Sure. You'd have to repeat what we were talking about.
Oh yeah. So what do you think? I guess in universe terms, and years down the road, what happens to this group of characters, the Bad Batch? You know, since it's like, you know, when I think of Rebels and I think further down, you know, we don't really see much mention of them. So do you think, you know, maybe they're just off peacefully living their lives on a farm or something, or, you know, are they going to meet their end at some point in this show? Or, you know, do you think we're also going to get multiple seasons of the Bad Batch similar to Clone Wars? Or is it just like, hey, this is a special, you know, thing that's kind of an addition, you know, to Filoni's verse, so to speak?
It can go so many ways at this point with theorizing. I mean, since they weren't mentioned before, it's kind of a shot in the dark. They could always add it in at like a new TV show or a new movie. They can always add those characters in.
Yep.
And it's especially difficult to tell because you've had Lucasfilm owning it originally, and now Disney, and obviously they've had two separate ideas on things because other people that are running it. When it comes to that group, their life expectancy, I'm not sure. It kind of is based on if they do execute Order 66, which obviously it seems like by the trailer they don't. So they probably were like the Commandos, where they didn't have the inhibitor chips. Now, since they don't have that, I don't know if they have like the same advanced aging as the regular clones do, but since they do seem like the same age, they probably do.
Yeah.
Now their life expectancy, I mean, we've seen Rex live until, the Empire's age. You see it in Rebels.
Yep.
Now I'm not sure 100% sure if it's confirmed that he was on the Battle of Endor, but if that is true, then I think he's like the second longest living clone to ever exist, as far as like the canon story goes. Now, if the Bad Batch can live as long as he can, that'd be great. But my only concern for that is Wrecker isn't the kind of guy who wants to just sneakily, just escape the Empire, go live out on a farm for the rest of his days and just chill. He always wants to fight. He always wants to be in battle, and that's what they're bred for, So I guess that's the best way I can answer that. It's really hard to say, but that's a really good question.
Yeah. No, and it makes sense when you pose it that way too, because it's almost like part of the Mandalorian creed, where it's like, one should, die as they lived. And it kind of makes sense when you think of this particular group of clones, like their existence in general and kind of ideals seem to be centered around the battle itself. I mean, that's the clones in general too, but yeah, that makes sense the way you pose that, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Nico, are you back with us, man? Is he still frozen in time?
Oh man. He's probably gonna have to leave and come back.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
I'll let him figure it out. So there's that. So we talked a little bit about like in-universe, things with Bad Batch. So again, timeline, I guess I could look that up really quick. As far as, wait a second. Let me share my screen. Let's see.
I've made over the course of like each month, every now and again, I'll throw in a timeline video. And of course, Bad Batch and all these other shows are going to alter it, which is great. More knowledge. But I always run into those people who want to watch things out of order, or the ones who just never knew that this was out of order, like Clone Wars being entirely out of order. That's one thing I found that, like, of course, I didn't know this for the longest time, and it's so helpful to have, I guess, like a, no pun intended, like a guide like that.
No, for sure, absolutely. I'm trying to remember. I wrote something down in my notes that I wanted to look up pertaining to Bad Batch. I'm trying to remember what the heck it was. Oh, yeah. I may be spelling her. How do you spell her name? Finnick.
Oh, Sean, I think that's how you spell it.
Yeah, there it is. Bad Batch. I wanted to see a little bit more about her. Now my theory with her is I feel like we'll get a moment or like maybe like an episode or two, but I don't think she's gonna be, I could be wrong, she could have a really prominent role in the show. I just feel like she's there to give us a little more back history on her character, and she'll be there for like a few episodes, but I don't know. I mean, I want to hear from you guys too, what you think. But personally, I don't think she's going to be that prominent, in the show. Is my thought. I don't know. What do you think?
That's kind of, I mean, with trailers, they manipulated so much. It's kind of really hard to tell what's going on, except for a couple things I know for sure. But yeah, I think she's going to be a part of it. She's probably going to help them out. I feel like quite a bit, especially when it comes to escaping the Empire and escaping, what's his name? I'm sorry. Geez. Yeah, I'm a real Star Wars fan, and I can't even name someone who's very, very popular.
You're not talking about Boba Fett, are you?
No. I can't. He's the governor. Tarkin. There we go.
Oh,
Wow.
gotcha. Yeah.
Jeez. Tarkin is obviously, it seems like he's going to be like the main antagonist who sends every kind of resource after the Bad Batch to get rid of him, because they're going to obviously not have the inhibitor chips, and they're going to be the ones that really stand a chance at ruining the whole Empire's, transition / takeover.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to help them get away from that. And I don't want to say she's a shady character. Like, I'm not trying to put that kind of image about her, but she's obviously, she wasn't on the good guys' side for a while.
Yeah.
We've seen that in The Mandalorian. So
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe we're going to see what she was like before this. You never know.
And then that's cool that Ming-Na Wen is voicing the character that she plays. I love that. That's cool. And you bring up a good point, Guy, too, as I think about that, because I think I feel like you guys will agree with this, but maybe you won't. I don't know. But when we think of like Bo-Katan, everyone was like so hyped. Like, yes, she's so awesome. She's so cool to see her come back in The Mandalorian, which it was great. But I'm like, she was a terrorist. She was a terrorist, people. Do not forget this. Same with Boba Fett. Like, Boba is a complete badass. I will hold that down every day, all day. Complete badass. I love Boba Fett. But he was a bad guy, and technically, maybe he still is. You know what I mean? Like, he helped out Mando because, he wanted to, and he wanted to get his armor back. But as we can see, and this is another video, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but, my predictions too, a little bit going into the book of Boba Fett is he's the kind of like the kingpin of Tatooine type of a thing, you know what I mean? And we kind of get to see more of the crime world of things, the underground world, kind of the boys coming back together, probably in his show. But yeah, that's interesting, and I bring all of that up just thinking about, Fennec Shan, she, I think, is a badass, but again, we get to see a little bit more of that history and how that plays out to the way her character was kind of, presented to us in The Mandalorian. And Nico, welcome back. We just seen your,
I have no idea what
frozen in time. I don't know if we were watching Mortal Kombat and you were frozen, on the screen or something. I don't know what happened, man, but you're back.
I was talking, my computer said blue screen locking. I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Oh no.
Well, welcome back. Go ahead, Nico. We've been talking for a minute. Go ahead and share what are some of your predictions, man, and some of the things that you're most excited about going into Bad Batch episode 1.
Okay, so I obsessively looked over this trailer like last night, trying to get some kind of symbolism of how the episode would go.
Yeah.
And I'm probably most excited to see what happens to Tarkin. Like, I know they're gonna rough him up because the way I see the episode going, it's like they send him on a mission, but also there are some clips that go back to the clone training area, where they essentially see how the Bad Batch performs. Tarkin's looking over it, and he's doing his Tarkin thing, and he's like, "Oh, they're a little bit too good. They don't listen to orders."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. And then there are some shots, but I want to see essentially what's been happening with the clones, like almost immediately post Order 66.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how Omega knows about 99, like squad number 99. Like, she knows them all by name and detail and all that. Like, what kind of training is she going through? Like, what are they putting her through that they are so like knowledgeable already? Like, some clones we've seen barely can shoot blasters and like handle the rule books at that age. Yeah. In their lifespan.
Bring up some points. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead, guy.
No, and I'm also excited to see this mission that they're going on, like the initial mission that we're seeing them, that Tarkin sends them on. I think Tarkin sends them on this mission, but it's only kind of like a snowy planet. They're rampaging on like some battlefield. There's droids being destroyed, which is interesting. And I wonder if that's like real or if that's a part of Tarkin's setup to get them like done. So that's kind of my big, after combing through the trailer, theory. Like, I wonder what is Tarkin doing, and I kind of want to see him get beat up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You bring up some good stuff, man. I seen something, I can't remember what the heck it was I was watching or reading, but thoughts about like Omega, is she like a clone, but like just a girl version? Is like a perfect clone? I don't know. I've seen some interesting things about that. So that'll be interesting to learn a little bit more about her. And you bring up a fantastic point that I feel like a lot of people in and outside of the fandom have always kind of wondered, like, so you have clone troopers and you have stormtroopers. And, you know, those of us who know the history, those of us who, you know, have been watching Clone Wars, we know the difference between the two. But there's some people that don't, and they're like, oh, okay, so what happened to the clones, you know, after that? Like, how did they get filtered out? You know, and then just like any regular military, you know, you have people who enlist, you know, that's kind of your stormtrooper aspect to explain it, you know what I mean? So I think you bring up a great point, because I feel like as us as fans, we kind of want to see that moment, or not even just moment, but transition of how that was handled, you know, which I'm sure, you know, was not delicate. You know what I mean? I'm sure it probably, I don't think it was the most easiest transition, because again, you know, the clones, I would think of it, you know, in their perspective of like, man, they were created to fight. So if they're like, you know, if the Emperor was like, yeah, you guys fulfilled your purpose, you're no longer needed, I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of rebellion and a little bit of frustration is my interpretation when I think about the clones. Like, if I were a clone and I'm like, hey, this is what I was created to do, but you're saying I'm no longer needed. Well, what else do I have? And you have tons of clones. Again, I don't know how many are still left over, you know, after, you know, at this point, but I'm sure there will be kind of an extermination point if there's rebellion rising up, you know what I mean? Which I think would be a really interesting moment. And I could be wrong on this, but I mean, you know, even in Rebels, you know, we've seen Rex and, you know, who were the other two that were with him? I'm skipping out on his name, the other brothers.
You have Gregor, I think. Yeah. And you have Wolf.
Exactly. Yep. They were kind of laying low, if I'm right. You know what I mean? Like, they were laying low during the time. They didn't want to attract any kind of attention, and kind of bringing my mind back to like that moment is like, well, maybe this kind of speaks to that. We're like, hey, the clones will be hunted down. You know, they don't want, you know, anything to do with them at this point. So it's interesting. That's a thought that I think of, you know, going into it. Anything else, Guide? Me and Guide talked about this the other day. I told you, Guide, I'm going to talk a lot, so you just need to hold up the force hand and like force choke me to keep quiet. So I'm gonna let Guide go ahead and speak.
Oh no, it's all good. I'm not worried. I don't know, man. It's a heavily asked question throughout the fandom. Like, why did the Empire switch from clone troopers to stormtroopers, from, you know, the clones that were specifically bred and built for battle, like they were just badasses, elites, and now we switched to regular humans. And it's a pretty easy question. Like, of course, if you take a step back and you look at the movies, George Lucas started from episode 4, 5, and 6. So that is like a cemented pathway. Now they have to kind of think about it, like, okay, why did they switch? Now they have to add, like, I guess you can say it like like a Lego set. You know, Lucas built half the Death Star already, and now, you know, the future Lucasfilm, or, you know, even Disney too, had to add on and kind of explain, like, oh, well, this is why it led to this. But essentially, why they switched from clone troopers to stormtroopers is that not only were the clones very expensive, but after Order 66 was issued, they weren't the same. Like, you see in season 7 of the Clone Wars, like they kind of act the same, but for the most part, their memories are kind of, I guess you could say, they're swapped. So instead of, like, if you're on a battlefield and you've seen your Jedi general saving a clone from you know, getting shot, he got shot once and then he uses the Force, brings him behind that cover. Now their memories are swapped to where they see the Jedi Force pushing him into there and using him as, let's say, like a human shield or so, and their memories are just totally screwed for now. but the effects of their performance were heavily inflicted once that order was given, and you even see it a bit. I think Wolf executed it, of course. So then maybe they'll go into detail of explaining how maybe Rex or a couple other clones got that inhibitor chip removed, and then the side effects are still kind of there, but their performance was definitely rolling downhill compared to pre-Order 66. But yeah, it's a heavily asked question, and I love diving deep into it, and this is going to give us even more information.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I didn't even think about that. And I'm assuming you're saying, like, for the clones that still have an inhibitor chip, like their memories are just trash pretty much at this point, versus like a Rex or, you know, some of the other ones like Bad Batch that may not still have the chip. That's crazy, like, to kind of think about that, like, in universe perspective, like everything that you knew is kind of like that, it can be altered, you know, in terms of your memory, which is crazy. Interesting. That does bring up an interesting point. So yeah, I don't know. And again, for all that are watching, you know, these are our predictions. We don't know what's gonna happen. Like me and Guy were talking yesterday. We were like, you know, the fun thing about predictions is, like, they can be crazy and wacky as hell. But if we call this stuff and it happens, we're gods. We're gods at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of the fun thing that we get to do every Tuesday. You know, with this show is really kind of diving in and going in on some of those predictions and you know, reviewing over the episodes and the little Easter eggs that we're gonna get. God, I'm like, that's another thing. Like, what Easter eggs in episode 1 do you guys think they're gonna drop? Like boom. Like, what do you guys think is gonna be like one of the big reveals, I guess, as a prediction?
Go ahead.
Gosh, I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we'll see Clone Wars. So yeah, I feel like we'll probably see like some early work of probably the Death Star. I think that's a fair assumption. If I'm thinking timeline rise, if I've got my timeline correct, I would assume we'll probably see something about the Death Star. And by the way, it's 12:36. We got like a few minutes until our show ends. But that's my thought. Death Star.
Okay. Fair enough.
Nico's thinking.
So gosh, I don't know. So depending on how post Order 66 it is, like Vader scene, like maybe we could see Palpatine destroying the lightsabers, which is from the Vader comics. We could see that. That would be cool.
I've seen something about that too, like how he got his red lightsaber, which we've seen in the comics, but it'd be dope to see like in you know, Bad Batch. I would be down for that. What about you guys?
I love a glimpse of Vader.
Man, yeah, just seeing it all kind of unravel from Anakin turn into Vader, and just seeing, you know, like we all are kind of expecting Order 66 from so many more personal experiences. And that's one thing that, like, I love movies. I love everything about Star Wars, but the movies can only give us so much information. Crammed into like under 2 hours or so. So these shows are going to fill in a lot of gaps. And I think that's a very fair point. You know, I would be excited to see Vader transition, of course, and get his lightsaber, and seeing Masameda, you know, try and BS the public and be like, yeah, we're the good guys, trust me, you're gonna have way more freedom, it's gonna be amazing, and then throws all the lightsabers in there. The last one that he throws in is Yoda's. You see the big explosion. And then for the Death Star, that was a really good point, and that'd be really good to see, because we already know, you know, prior to New Hope and even a little bit prior to Rogue One, like the Death Star is already being built. It's not complete, but it's already being built. So how long has it taken them? How long has it taken them to, you know, construct this? And this was highly secretive, like so secretive that if anyone even slipped anything at all, if anyone even suspected someone, they were just gone. They were just killed right away.
So I suspect we'll probably see some early stuff with Death Star. I think it'd be awesome. Well, team, I think that concludes our show for today. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Every Tuesday, we got this show. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Star Wars Guide also has his separate channel as well on YouTube. So follow him, and all of us, including Nico Skywalker, he is on TikTok. So if you guys are on the TikTok platform, be sure to follow us there, because we all go live and we're always posting like crazy on pretty much all these platforms. So much love. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. May the Force be with you.
Later.